We are back. Let's go over the last 2 weeks of news, which includes new commitments, new players, team changes, and so much more, all coming at you next.
Give me my theme music!
Buffs Nation, and welcome to Buffs News Weekly, the only source for weekly Colorado football news. I am your host, Russ Dornish. Before we get started, make sure to comment and like this video, but also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Now, I am officially back from vacation and ready for the season to begin, so let's take a look of the first 2 weeks of camp and the news that has come out during this time. We will first cover some player news with recruits, offers, and some late additions to the team. Then we will go into camp updates. Use the timestamps below if you're looking for specific info. We will do our best to cover the last 2 weeks of news, so let's jump right in. First up, let's talk about the 2025 recruiting class and where we stand with players. Colorado got another big commit for the 2025 class in Colorado product Zane D'Souza. D'Souza is the number 3 overall product from Colorado and 71st rated tight end in the country. He sits at 6'6", 260 pounds with some amazing athletic ability that comes with this size. We assume D'Souza will be a tight end at the next level with the lack of depth at that position. However, there have been small rumors and some scouting profiles have said he could transition to offensive line if needed. From Loveland, Colorado, just down the road from Boulder, D'Souza came on an official visit August 1st and committed on August 3rd. D'Souza got on the radar of Colorado after CU's elite camp they held earlier in the summer, leading to the official visit, offer, and subsequent commitment. The tight end said that the coaching staff was the biggest reason for his commitment, with Colorado carrying a pro pedigree within the staff. D'Souza continues a family tradition with his father, Daniel D'Souza, who also went to Colorado and played football there. D'Souza joins Corbin Leisure as 2025 tight end 3-star recruits to have committed to Colorado. On the other end, official paper offers for players went out at the beginning of the month, bringing with it a surprise or two that people did not know about, but also the obvious choice. Of course, currently committed players like Mantrez Walker, Corbin Leisure shared their offers. Now, the one everyone waited for was Julian Lewis, and while he posted his official offer from both Indiana and Colorado alongside USC, Lewis has since deleted the Colorado and Indiana offer. This brings us into our weekly Julian Lewis update. While Lewis deleted the official offer tweet, Lewis also posted about his mentors helping him get to where he is and surprised everyone to list and show a picture with Colorado quarterback Cordell Stewart as one of his main mentors. That post has also since been deleted by Lewis. Following up on our report 2 weeks ago about USC pivoting to Husan Longstreet as their 2025 quarterback recruit, Steve Wiltfong of On3 doubled down on that this week and stated that USC is pushing very hard to flip the Texas A&M commit, making it seem that USC may be moving on from Julian Lewis because they don't want to continue the back and forth with him as a recruit, leaving really only Colorado and Indiana as options for Lewis. On top of that, On3 did update their Julian Lewis predictions, putting Colorado at a higher percentage than USC that you see here. Right now, Lewis's high school team had their first scrimmage of the year last night, and yet we have no update on his commit. That information could come any day now, so make sure you follow us so that you know the details the moment that Lewis either commits fully to USC or flips to either Colorado or Indiana. Moving out of future players, let's move into the now with some late additions to the 2024 roster as camp began. Colorado picked up 2 pieces for the roster. The first was safety Ian Massey from Oregon State. If you want a full, detailed breakdown of Massey, as always, checked out Buffed in Prime, who did a breakdown of him the moment he entered the portal. Now, Massey could be a huge piece for the future, especially in a safety room that after this year will be losing major pieces in Shiloh Sanders and Cameron Silman-Craig. Massey had a breakout season at his community college before joining Oregon State last year. His play was limited heavily at Oregon State, leading him to enter the transfer portal. Massey said early on that he wanted to join Colorado but was exploring his options. In the end, he ends up as a preferred walk-on for the upcoming season, wanting to prove what he can do for Colorado this season. Massey will be a fun story to watch as he works his way up the roster, and I am sure that he is going to work hard to prove himself to this team and coaching staff. The other late roster add brings much needed depth to the offensive line after news broke that Michigan State transfer Ethan Boyd decided not to join Colorado. The new addition is Cordell Thomas, who comes to Colorado after leaving LSU in 2022 and spending last year at Florida A&M, where he obviously has a connection with Coach Bress. With the late subtraction of Boyd, my guess is Colorado was trying to find some depth for the line, and Bress turned to Thomas, who was originally committed this summer to a Division II side before flipping to Colorado and joining for their fall camp. Now, for some actual camp news, let's quickly chat about what we have learned so far in these 2 weeks of camp. First, I want to point out the breakout players who have so far showed out at practice, being called directly by coaching staff and showing on tape regularly. Of course, we are blessed here at Colorado to have a multitude of channels covering the team with well-off media, Reach the People, and of course, the Coach Neely Show. First up, the receivers, as we finally get to see Will Sheppard in action after joining the team this summer and having not played in the spring. Sheppard is everything that was advertised, already making massive plays in one-on-ones and standing out. You can already tell that Shep and Shador are creating a great chemistry. Another receiver that has shown out in plenty of video highlights and been talked about is receiver Terrell Timmons Jr., who also came to Colorado this offseason and has seen a little less attention than some of the other additions. Be on the lookout for him to make some noise and potentially move up the depth chart, as he could have a much bigger role this season than some people thought. Now, the massive news about camp is who continues to show out, which is newly scholarship running back Charlie Offerdahl. As of now, Coach Prime said Charlie coming into camp would be the running back number 1, and he has shown yet again the type of player he is making an impact in how hard he plays and the ability to gain yards consistently. That style is what has put Charlie where he is at the running back 1 position as of moment. I expect Charlie, no matter what happens with the depth chart, to make an impact on the field this year in plenty of different possibilities. On the offensive line, I am proud to say that the most dominant player right now has been Tyler Brown. After missing last season due to the transfer rules, Tyler worked his butt off and really transformed his overall strength, with plenty of players saying that he is now the strongest player on the team. So far in camp, it's also showing with how well he is dominating in the blocking game. We expect a huge year from Brown, and while he earned another year of eligibility after the NCAA changed course in their rules on eligibility for transfers, expectation is a big season from Tyler leads directly to the NFL. So this may be the only year we get to see him officially in the black and gold. Now, for some breakouts on the defensive side of the ball, Savion Riley has shown out well and brings some great depth to the secondary behind Shiloh and Silman-Craig. Riley was originally with Miami this spring and was looking like he was running with the number 1s all spring, making it a surprise at jumping back into the portal and joining Colorado when he did. And it looks like he is continuing that play so far with what we have seen on the field during the first 2 weeks of practice. The other big-time performer on defense who has received a ton of praise from teammates to coaches is Trevor Woods, who is now officially a full-time linebacker. Woods has put on some much-needed weight, and with his safety background, has turned into quite the linebacker and is currently slotted as the number 1 in the depth chart as his position. He is constantly receiving praise from all coaches, and it's exciting to see how he does this season. I have a feeling that Trevor could be a big surprise from where we were sitting at the end of last season to where we will be sitting at the end of this, with who knows, him potentially getting some looks as an NFL draft pick later on next year. Moving out of the actual play on the field, more preseason awards and watch lists were released, with plenty of Colorado players receiving recognition. First up, the preseason All-Americans and who was included. Travis Hunter gets first team flex defensive nod, while Shador gets first team honorable mention, and elsewhere on the team, LeJohntay Wester gets named to the second team punt returner as well. On the award watch lists, we saw quite the list of players from Colorado who are being watched as potential award winners. Both Shador and Travis, of course, collected a bunch of watch lists, with Shador showing up on the Maxwell Award list, Walter Camp list, and the Davey O'Brien list as well. While Hunter, of course, carrying all the accolades of being one of the best college football players in the country, shows up on the Bolitnikov list, Walter Camp list, Paul Hornig list, Jim Thorpe watch list, and the Bronco Nagorski list. As for other players joining them, BJ Green was included on the Outland Trophy watch list, LeJohntay Wester joins Hunter on the Bolitnikov list, and Shane Cokes also gets the Warfill list nod. Lastly, punter Mark Vassett, who I believe is one of the best punters in the country, is on the Ray Guy short list for best punter country. So far, it's looking like Colorado has a much better roster than last season, actually having players show up on these watch lists. Finally, to end our video, but also tease our upcoming live stream, Colorado, of course, is in the middle of some media controversy, which culminated in Coach Prime's Media Day press conference, where he shut down 2 journalists in attendance due to their previous coverage of both him and the team. Before that, though, Athlon Sports, which covered Colorado negatively in the past when it talked about Prime requiring players to attend a Lil Wayne's concert and giving a mouthpiece to a transferred player who was mad at the team and his position. But out of what can only be described as a hit piece with no evidence to back up that information, still to this moment, stated that Colorado is a breeding ground for mayhem, violence, and thug. The author even went on Dan Le Batard's show this week to discuss it, and when asked about the proof, seemingly used Colorado media videos to back up a claim that guns are all over the locker room. He stated, and I quote, "Bucky went around asking players who was the most strapped on the team." However, when you actually look up the video, the strapped up reference in the video is about who gets covered the most and strapped by the defensive backs on the team. It's literally a football terminology that is used and shows just how out of touch this author is. Since that was brought to light, Dan Le Batard has removed the video clips from their social medias, obviously figuring out that this author was not credible. Now, with this revelation, no actual proof, it goes to show the fake narrative and use of Colorado's name to generate clicks and revenue. In fact, Sean Keeler of the Denver Post, who was one of the media members shut down by Prime at his press conference, was asked by Prime why does he do it, and whether out of spite or being serious. Keeler responded, "I have to pay the bills." I won't go much more into detail on all that has been said or shown in the last several weeks, because I don't want to give it too much time during my actual videos and give them more exposure. Instead, I invite you to our live stream on Tuesday, where I'll go into detail about why Prime is in the right, even though media members are saying that he's being whiny and going after people he shouldn't. I'm also going to go over what is happening, why it's hypocritical and only focused on Colorado, and why it will keep happening even if the team wins. If you have an opinion on this, join me Tuesday in the chat so we can go over this in more detail. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching, and I'm so excited for the upcoming season and covering the team right alongside all the other content creators who do as well. Join me Tuesday for my live stream, and we will see you next Saturday for the next news video. For Buffs News Weekly, I'm Russ Dornish. Sco Buffs.
Give me my theme music!